Joe, good to see you. How you doing? Evening. How you been? Pablo, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Carol, good to see you, bro. How you doing? How you been? Manny, good to see you as well. Evening. How you doing? How you been? Let's go, Pablo. Evening, Pure. Good to see you. How you doing? Thank you so much, Pure, for retweeting the live show as well. Just got a notification. Thanks so much to everyone that's retweeting the live show right now at the beginning. Miles, how you doing, brother? I'm doing great. Theos, how you doing? How you been? Ian, good evening, Miles and family. Hope you're all well. Let's go, Ian. How you doing, brother? How's everyone doing today? Genuinely mean it. Thank you so much to everyone that's retweeting the live show right at the beginning of the live show. Hello, CMF. So good to see you. How you doing? How you been? So let's do a gist of what we're going to go through on tonight's live show. And then the intro, disclaimer, and then everyone's in for the first part. Today we have a lot of banking news to go through. There's a lot of things happening in the banking world and cryptocurrency world that's colliding together right now. So we're going to go through a lot of banking news today, but it's all banking announcements, banking collaborations, and legislations and policies. I'm about to forget how to talk to people. I've been talking to AI every day now. Let's go, come on. Also, we've got some Ripple news as well at the end of the live show. Banking news related to Ripple and Swift news related to Ripple as well. But so on tonight's live show, on the CMF live show tonight, we're going to be talking about BlackRock. We're going to talk about BlackRock and regarding their essentially amending their Bitcoin ETF, which they haven't done for a while since the approval. Then we're going to talk about how essentially China is affecting the cryptocurrency market space, because the People's Bank of China, which is their central bank, has just done rate cuts, 50 basis points, similar to the United States. So we're going to go through that on tonight's live show as well. We're also going to talk about Gary Gensler on tonight's live show as well. The chairman of the SEC just went in front of essentially Congress, and Congress were grilling Gary Gensler. But the interesting part is, for the first time ever, Gary Gensler apologized for his behavior regarding the way he's been acting towards cryptocurrency companies, which no one ever saw coming. We're also going to talk about on tonight's live show regarding Bitcoin, an interesting quote that's just came out of BlackRock's senior manager. On the quote, he said, "It may be wrong to consider it a risky asset when it comes to Bitcoin." We're also going to go through the news topic on tonight's live show regarding a bank based out of Switzerland. The third largest bank based out of Switzerland has just entered the crypto space, which is major news. Then we're going to talk about DBS Bank, who's about to be launching some crypto structured products towards his high profile clients. Then we're going to be talking about Solana Labs. Essentially, Solana Labs has just partnered with Google Cloud to launch Web3 API services, which is amazing news. Then we're going to talk about Commonwealth Bank, who's leading Web3 efforts right now inside the blockchain space, which is another major banking news, which is out of Australia. Then we're going to talk about Avalanche and Citibank. And Citibank, because they filed essentially a patent on the AVAX chain. And then we're going to go through the news topic on tonight's live show regarding another Switzerland bank who's collaborating to create the Swiss francs. Then we're going to talk about tonight's live show regarding Bybit. Bybit is going to be the first exchange in the world, the first crypto exchange in the world, to introduce a service to Middle Eastern countries that isn't going to be essentially for anybody else. But if you are a religious person inside of the crypto space and you're having difficulties, Bybit might be the solution for you. Now, I'll tell you what I mean when we get to that news. Then we're going to talk about on tonight's live show regarding Ripple launching a major token series for their RLUSD. Then we're going to talk about tonight's live show regarding a major bank adapting Ripple and XRP to speed up global payments, which is JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs have stated XRP Ledger and XRP in their PDF documentations. Then we're going to talk about XRP being highlighted in Swift PDF documentations, and essentially R3 Corridor, which is basically XDC. So quite a lot of major news to go through, quite a lot of banking news to go through on tonight's live show. But before we go through any of that, that was the gist of what we're going to go through on tonight's live show. Welcome to the CMF live show. If you're watching this for the first time ever, This is the CMF live show, stands for Crypto Mouse Family. And on this live show, you can tune in every single night at 11:25 p.m. onwards, UK time. And I talk about the most recent things that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulations, vital information for you to know about going inside the crypto sector and how the world is transforming in the digital era. And we also do Q&As on this live show as well, which means if you have any questions, don't be shy, put them inside the comment section. And the disclaimer of this live show, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. So, welcome to the CMF live show. If you are new and if you're regular, let's go CMF. The live show has officially started now. But before we go for the first news, which is regarding BlackRock and Coinbase, let's go inside the comment section first, and then we go straight towards the first news. Let's see where we were at. Hi, Miles and CMF. Dennis, good to see you as well. How you doing, brother? Paul, hi, Miles. Good to see you as well. Paul, how you doing? Good evening, Miles and CMF. How are you? I'm doing great. Callie, how you doing? Hello, Miles. Not first again tonight. I have to work on it. No problem, Scott. How you doing? Hello, Miles and family. Chief, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? The hearings today was interesting. Yes, it definitely was. Good evening, everyone. Bull XRP, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Hi, family. T, good to see you as well. How you doing? Aladdin, how you doing? Good evening, brother Miles and the rest of the CMF family. I'm on time. Let's go, funky brother. Yes, you are. CMF, if you don't mind, please share the live. Yes, please. Hello to the CMF on YouTube. Let's go, Scott. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Orphan, good to see you as well. How you doing? If you do not mind, please share the live. Thank you so much once again to everybody that's shared the live and retweeted this live right now on X and liked this live as well right at the beginning. Thanks so much to everyone on also YouTube who's also liking this live show right now as well. So, first news on tonight's live show is, are the markets going to go up? Are the markets going to all go up from here? Seems like it. Hi, Miles, give us the scoop. Let's go, McKeown. Good to see you. How you doing? Perfect timing. Because about to go for the first news. BlackRock. But regarding Funky Brother's question of, are the markets going to go all up from now on? Turbulence is always going to be inside the market space no matter what. So, yes, the market space should be going up due to that we just had 50 basis points, due to the amount of good news that's coming from the banking sector, due to also the amount of regulations we're getting in place. But there's still one green light that's needed, which is regulations. A lot of regulations still need to be, especially within the United States. But that might not be so far-fetched because we have news regarding regulations on the United States. China and USA are going easy on interest rates. Yes, they definitely are. But their interest rates are pretty much matching as well. Good to see you, Miles. How did everything go with Coinbase? With Coinbase? Why would you ask that? You mean CoinMove? Ah, CoinMove, everything's going brilliant. For a second, I was confused. Coinbase? Did I have a meeting with Coinbase? No. CoinMove, yes, everything went brilliant. Thanks so much for asking. Now, BlackRock. Recently, we had essentially people being skeptical. Is Coinbase really buying Bitcoins, or are they doing IOUs for BlackRock? Which made a lot of people skeptical inside the crypto space that, is even Coinbase buying Bitcoins, which made Eric, a Bloomberg ETF specialist analyst, come out of nowhere and say, no, he believes Coinbase are actually buying Bitcoins for BlackRock and they're not buying IOUs. Well, it seems like this news might have reached BlackRock in some sort of a way because BlackRock has decided to amend their Bitcoin ETFs, which is something they haven't done since the ETFs were approved for BlackRock. So BlackRock, the global asset management firm, has submitted an update for its Bitcoin ETF, Bybit, in response to the regarding Coinbase custodial methods situation. Investors have expressed concerns regarding the transparency of Coinbase's management of Bitcoin when it comes to BlackRock or the rest of their ETFs, leading to requests for on-chain verification that all the ETFs-related transactions are actually resolved. People are requesting information from Coinbase on the essentially wallets and transactions of, is Coinbase genuinely buying Bitcoins for the Bitcoin ETFs they're established with? BlackRock demanded that Bitcoin withdrawals from Coinbase be executed within 12 hours. So BlackRock has just amended their ETFs, essentially documentations, with Coinbase. From now on, if BlackRock gives the order of an ETF to be sold, a Bitcoin to be sold, Coinbase has to do it within 12 hours, citing essentially around the utilization of paper BTS or Bitcoin IOUs. It seems like maybe BlackRock thought Coinbase was buying IOUs as well. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong informed investors that all ETF-related transactions are executed on-chain within 1 business day. Notwithstanding substantial inflows into Bitcoin ETFs, BlackRock's Bitcoin's price has stayed unchanged, promoting essentially speculation that Coinbase might be conducting ETF-related Bitcoin transactions off-chain, so influencing the price. Nonetheless, Armstrong, essentially the CEO of Coinbase, and other industry leaders have emphasized that all transactions are conducted transparently on-chain. BlackRock's plan to amend its ETF framework seeks to improve liquidity and increase operational transparency. Coinbase's pivotal position in offering custodial services for the majority of Bitcoins and Ethereum ETFs have essentially escalated to regarding its dominance and possible security vulnerabilities. Notwithstanding these issues, Coinbase continues to be a significant participant in institutional Bitcoin investing, commanding a considerable share of the US spot trading markets. People were requesting information from essentially BlackRock. People requesting information inside the crypto space from BlackRock and essentially Coinbase. Can you share these transactions of Bitcoins you're buying? Because we don't believe Coinbase is buying Bitcoins for you in any sort of way for your ETFs. They can't show the wallets that BlackRock holds and the rest of the ETFs hold. But what they have done instead is to show transparency. They have a new contract with essentially Coinbase that within 12 hours, if they give a command of a Bitcoin to be sold, it has to be sold within 12 hours with Coinbase. So that's the transparency they wanted to show to the people, that Coinbase is actually buying Bitcoin ETFs, and within 12 hours given the order, you have to sell those Bitcoins off. So that's the only transparency they can show, but they're not going to be showing institutional wallets to people. But they said all the transactions are on-chain, because there's speculation inside the crypto space of the institutions of, doing crypto transactions on private chains, and the public is doing transactions for the same tokens on the public chain, which is a bit absurd because you can't have two price points either. So some people are speculating that there are two price points on one private chains and one public chains for institutions, which is completely absurd, because you can just, if one is more expensive than the other, which in reality it isn't, you could just buy the cheaper one on the public chain and sell it for arbitrary for the institutional chain, which is basically what you can do. So this absurdness that people may have, that some tokens are operating on a private chain for institutions with a different price and on a public chain for the poor people, is ridiculous. There's only one chain when it comes to every one of these tokens. There's a test chain and a mainnet. That's pretty much it. There's no private chains for institutions with different pricings of tokens. Now, moving on from that, and just to put that out there, just in case anybody was confused of institutions having different prices for their tokens. Two, how will important news from China affect cryptocurrencies? Because China's central bank, the People's Bank of China, has just done rate cuts. The same way the United States did rate cuts, and it was a 50 basis points. China just matched the United States with a 50 basis points as well. The cryptocurrency analyst firm QCP Capital has released a report highlighting significant developments in the global markets triggered by massive economic measures coming out of China. According to the firm, today's 4.15% rise in the Shanghai essentially index, the SSE, was driven by significant pressure from the People's Bank of China that marks a major turning point for the markets worldwide. The People's Bank of China's latest move includes a 50 basis points cut in the reserve requirements ratio to release 1 trillion yuan of credit. In addition, 500 billion yuan funding program aimed at supporting stock market investments has sparked skepticism and optimism. Global markets, including commodities, responded positively to China's 50 basis points. Brent crude rose by 2.35%, while copper gained 2.32%, reflecting a potential increase in demand due to the rising essentially consumption in China. QCP Capital was the one that did this report. They also noted that this strong policy action from China follows the current and recent 50 basis point rate cut by the US Federal Reserve and signals a global wave of monetary easing. This trend is expected to provide strong support for asset prices in the near term, according to their report. On the crypto front, the report shows that this bullish trend inside the market space has translated into a more significant increase for Ethereum, Bitcoins, and other cryptocurrencies. So in the long-term wise, crypto is starting to look good due to the 50 basis points coming out of China, the recent 50 points coming out of the United States, and the Bank of England is thinking about doing rate cuts as well for the time being. They're still thinking about it. They're not sure what percentage they're going to be doing it. But the European Central Bank also did rate cuts. The Bank of Canada did two rate cuts. The Bank of Japan's done one rate cut. The central banks right now around the world are all going towards rate cuts. Some have already done their rate cuts, some are on their second rate cuts, and some banks are still thinking, should we do rate cuts? But if all these rate cuts are coming through, this is going to be a positive impact on essentially on the crypto space. Because when you do have rate cuts, investors become a lot more riskier with their assets, which means they tend to put more money into the stock, essentially inside the stock market or the crypto markets and so on. QCP Capital has also observed changes in the market's options, with ETH's front-end skew shifting from puts to calls, and Ethereum's implied volatility currently trading at 9% higher than Bitcoin. This suggests that both positive sentiments towards ETH and expectations for increased price volatility, according to the analyst QCP firm. Now, regarding China doing 50 basis points, the matching is actually the Federal Reserve points as well. Good news on that end. We should be expecting some money to come towards the crypto markets right now. Even though China might be anti-crypto, it seems like China is deciding to change their regulations on cryptocurrencies because they want to do trade with Russia. And if China wants to do trade with Russia, then they have to change their policies when it comes to cryptocurrencies. So China could slowly become pro-crypto instead of anti-crypto as well, because Russia has passed legislation to do trade on crypto, essentially transactions, cross-border payments. And if China wants to be included in those trade actions, they have to have regulations in place. And with their 50 basis points right now, good news for the crypto market, genuinely good news. Now, the next news we're going to go through on tonight's live show is regarding Gary Gensler. Because Gary Gensler just, in some sort of a way, apologized to the crypto space for his behavior. But before we go through that news, let's go inside the comment section first. China and USA got ease on interest rates. Yep. Ian, good evening, Miles. Meant coin move. I did delete that message. No problem, Ian. Coin move is going brilliant. And there's this one weird. Let me guess. Okay. Lena, good to see you. How you doing? Hello, Miles and CMF. Good to see you all. Lena, how you doing? Carlos, good to see you. How you doing? Ian, yep. Evening, Miles and CMF. Jason, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? HBAR is SPL. Is HBAR a good crypto project? Yes. HBAR, in my opinion, is a great crypto project. It's not a short-term type of project to have in your portfolio. It's more of a long-term project to have that's going to prosper and do better things as it goes by. ES channel life. I'm trying to learn. I miss this guy. Carlos, good to see you as well. How you doing? Good to see you back. Morning, Miles and CMF. Shelly, good to see you as well. How you doing? Morning, how you doing? Is this channel live? I've been looking for this guy since I don't see him anymore on TikTok. Yes, Carlos, good to see you. Carlos used to watch me on TikTok Live. I don't do TikTok Lives for over a year now. I haven't done them. I only do live on YouTube and X at the same time every single night. But good to see you, Carlos, back. Good to see you back. Subscribe to me on YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube and tune into it every single night. The same timing I used to go on TikTok Live a year ago is the same time I go on live on YouTube and X every single night. Good to see you, Carlos, back. Hey, Miles and CMF. Hope everything is well. Did I miss any news? The first, just 2 pieces of news, but at the end we'll do a recap. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Free and forever. Good to see you as well. How you doing? What's up, brother Miles and CMF? Good to see you as well. Billo, how you doing? Good day, Miles and CMF. Mike, good to see you as well. How you doing? China and Russia can trade on XRP, Ripple Labs cross-border payments and move away from SWIFT. Yes, you will look better. Okay, we always get some weirdos coming in sometimes. Now, Gary Gensler is what we're going to talk about now. Gary Gensler is essentially, he did 2 hearings so far. Congress wanted to have a sit down with Gary Gensler and his peers to testify against Gary Gensler, ironically. And the first time, essentially the SEC had a sit down with Congress, which was about a few days ago, it didn't really go too well for the SEC. They got battered. The second round was with Gary Gensler included, and they got battered even more, which prompted Gary Gensler in some sort of a way apologizing to the crypto space. So, and the best part is people that work for the SEC currently, like Hester Pierce, for example, she testified against, you can give a testimony against Gary Gensler, the chairman of the SEC. So Gary Gensler's hearing that happened today, SEC chairman admits fault on the debit box case. Now, the debit box case was essentially the SEC suing debit box, telling the judge that they're using other people's money and they're going to send it overseas. The judge freezes the bank accounts for debit box after realizing the SEC has no proof whatsoever, which prompted the SEC being fined, and that department of the SEC had to close down, and the 2 lawyers for the SEC case were fired. So a lot of things were brought up against Gary Gensler by congressmen today. In the Gary Gensler hearing today, the United States Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman SEC Gary Gensler was sharply criticized by lawmakers, including the GOP Majority Whip Tom Emmer, over the SEC's handling of the case involving digital licensing, also known as debit box. The case, which involved the freezing of the company's assets based on the SEC allegations, was dismissed after a federal judge found the agency engaged in bad faith. Judge Roberts ordered the agency, the SEC, to pay approximately $1.8 million to the attorneys and receiver fees due to Prisligo's missteps. In other words, the SEC had no proof whatsoever when they were going up against Debitbox and lied to a judge in a much more simpler way, and they had to pay $1.8 million to Debitbox. The SEC chairman faces scrutiny over Debitbox case. During the hearing today, Tom Emmer questioned Gary Gensler about the United States Securities and Exchange Commission's approach in the Debitbox case, highlighting what he described as mishandling and regulatory overreach for the SEC. Tom Emmer called the SEC's actions destructive, pointing out that the Commission's decision to freeze Debitbox's assets was based on inaccurate information, leading the court to impose sanctions on the SEC. Gensler acknowledged the situation was handled badly. Gary Gensler actually, for once in his life, he answered a question when Congress asked him a question. When Congress said, "Do you understand that what the SEC did against Debitbox was wrong?" Knowing Gary Gensler in the past, he would just dodge the question. But this time around, he said he understands the situation was handled badly, and expressed his frustration as Emmer continued to press on the agency's approach to regulating digital assets. Judge Shelby's ruling, citing the SEC's bad faith conduct, ordered the SEC to cover legal costs amounting to roughly $1.8 billion. This included approximately $1 million in attorney fees and $750,000 for receiver fees. The judgment followed a court finding that the agency's actions in obtaining a temporary restraining order to freeze Debitbox's assets were unjustified, and the case was ultimately dismissed without prejudice. Hester Pierce, a member of the SEC, even criticized the SEC's approach and Gary Gensler's approach. Hester Pierce still works for the SEC, and she came forward in front of Congress and said pretty much in a very simple way, yes, Gary Gensler is incompetent and what the SEC did against Debitbox was wrong. Commissioner Hester Pierce was vocal in her criticism of the SEC stance. By the way, she's, again, still working for the SEC. So Commissioner Hester Pierce was vocal in her criticism against the SEC on the cryptocurrency regulations, directly challenging Gary Gensler's leadership. Hester Pierce essentially agreed that the agency has taken a legally impriced approach which has contributed to a lack of clarity within the industry. She stated, "We have fallen down on our duties as a regulator, not to be precise." Emphasizing this ambiguous essentially has left the stakeholders uncertain about the SEC's regulatory boundaries. Hester Pierce further criticized the United States Securities and Exchange Commission and practices of regulation by enforcement, describing it as inefficient and unhelpful for providing market participants with clearer guidelines. She suggested that the agency should engage in more fact-finding activities, such as roundtables, before making significant regulatory decisions, rather than relying heavily on enforcement actions to set aside. Which facts, everything Hester Pierce said, by the way, again, working for the SEC still, and she's a commissioner for the SEC, was facts. And she said all these things against Gary Gensler in front of congressmen. She said all these things, essentially towards the SEC, towards Gary Gensler, for being incompetent. Mick Henry, essentially, we're going to go, actually, before we go towards Mick Henry, let's talk about Brad Sherman. So Brad Sherman and Patrick McHenry also addressed crypto regulations. A lot of things were discussed today towards Gary Gensler. Brad Sherman, another congressman, was among the first to raise the issue of cryptocurrencies during the hearing, expressing concerns about the lack of regulatory clarity when it comes to the SEC. He emphasized while the SEC has the authority to protect investors, the Commission should strive for more explicit guidance on digital assets. Brad Sherman's comments followed remarks afterwards by Patrick McHenry, who also questioned the SEC's handlings of crypto assets, especially mentioning Ether, the native token of Ethereum blockchain. McHenry essentially confronted Gary Gensler about various terms used by the SEC to describe digital assets, including crypto tokens and digital asset securities, and questioning whether the agency could distinguish between these terms, which is facts. Finally, somebody asked Gary Gensler, can you tell us the difference between these crypto tokens and these crypto security assets that you keep on going around telling everybody about? The SEC chairman responded by insisting that the laws are clear, but McHenry pushed back, arguing that the SEC's inconsistent terminology reflects a broader lack of regulatory clarity. In response to criticism, Gary Gensler maintained that the SEC remains merit neutral on blockchain technology, stating that the technology itself does not alter the fundamental economics of investments. He essentially retreated that the United States Securities and Exchange Commission's role is to ensure compliance with existing laws rather than to evaluate the merits of a specific investments. However, Gensler's defense did little to quell the concerns essentially raised by lawmakers and the SEC commissioners, who continued to press for more clearer guidelines on the regulatory treatment of digital assets. So Gary Gensler, for a second, tried to defend his spot and say the SEC is neutral when it comes to cryptocurrencies, and we're doing our best, and this is what we're going to be doing, protecting people, which Congressman didn't buy it. And neither did the people who are testifying against Gary Gensler, who are still working for the SEC. So here's what essentially also went on. Congressman essentially Loudermilk, this is what he said, quote unquote. He said, we have essentially litany of court cases. There are multiple court cases going on right now. Extraordinary confusion inside the marketplace. And millions of Americans are piling for clarity from you, Mr. Gensler. You have abused the agency's enforcement tools and baited companies eager to comply with you, only to hit them with enforcement actions. That's what Congressman essentially Loudermilk said. Loudermilk also criticized Gary Gensler for allegedly inventing and using the words crypto asset securities. Congressmen are calling out Gary Gensler for making up random words like crypto asset securities that doesn't exist in any sort of law books as the basis of enforcement in the last 3 years. The hearing comes aimed mounting pressure between the US regulators and the crypto industry. According to the data from crypto-oriented San Francisco-based investment firm Paragon, the US SEC has taken 171 enforcement actions against the crypto space, with a notable surge in actions after 17th of April 2021, when the SEC Senate confirmed Gensler as the US SEC chairman. So Congressman, give Gary Gensler they hammered Gary Gensler today, because I'll tell you why they hammered Gary Gensler. Because for once in his life, Gary Gensler actually said, in some sort of a way, he said, I understand the situation was handled badly. Now, who would have thought Gary Gensler could essentially say those words, I understand the situation was handled badly? Because Gary Gensler is basically a person that never will admit he's wrong. He will always admit he's right. He always thinks that he's doing the right thing, protecting investors. But for once in his life, he apologized. He said he understands that the situation was handled badly. And the best part about Congressman going up against Gary Gensler was SEC members that are still working for the SEC testified essentially against Gary Gensler's approach towards crypto assets. So thank you so much to essentially Hester Pierce, the commissioner of the SEC, for standing up and speaking out on Gary Gensler being so incompetent as the chairman of the SEC and the SEC's movements inside the crypto space. And thank you so much for the congressmen for pointing out essentially that Gary Gensler is abusing his power. He's making up random words like crypto asset securities to use against crypto firms. He's going against crypto firms who are actually looking for guidance. He tells crypto firms you need to be within the law, but doesn't provide the law. He's telling crypto firms you need to follow the rules and regulations that are in place, but there aren't any. So they pointed out some valid information regarding the SEC. Gary Gensler knows that it's coming up towards the ending of his career. So two things are going to happen. Either Gary Gensler is going to go, I don't care, or option number two, Gary Gensler might do something good before he's out the door. Let's see which option Gary Gensler is going to take. Is he going to take door number one? Just say, I don't care. I'm about to lose my job anyways after this election. Or do something good before he leaves. So he's going to take up door number one or door number two. Let's see what's going to happen. Now, Before we go to the next news, which is regarding essentially BlackRock and Bitcoin, because BlackRock essentially mentioned something interesting regarding Bitcoin, something that nobody ever saw coming at all. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. By the way, if you have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. This is a live show, which means if you have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. Even if you are beginning inside the crypto space, don't be shy. If you have any questions, go for it. Let's see where we were. It makes sense to use XRP for cross-border payments. Yes, definitely. It's all coordinated. As Gary apologizes, that means he will not appeal against XRP. Yeah. I don't think he's going to appeal either. I said that as well. There's no chance. I agree. I agree with Funky Brother. Okay, thank you very much. I did not know. I will try my best to continue watching you on this platform. Let's go, Carlos. He looked like a weasel at the hearing. Let's go, Scott. Hi, Miles and CMF. George, good to see you. How you doing? If the SEC appeal case, we will have to wait another few years. No. For anybody thinking that the SEC, because in the Ripple versus essentially SEC case, there's a 2 week, essentially it's 2 weeks left, roughly 2 weeks or less. If the SEC essentially appeals against the Ripple, they need to have grounds. They need to have genuine grounds before they can appeal against Ripple Labs. So if the SEC doesn't have grounds, which they won't have, because the SEC had, essentially 3 years of a battle with Ripple. So the SEC used whatever they had against Ripple, even if they had anything. They used whatever they had against Ripple for about 3 years and nothing happened. Ripple's still continuing, Ripple's still buying companies, Ripple's still doing contracts, Ripple's still doing developments, Ripple's still bringing in innovation in a lot of jurisdictions around the world. So that 3-year battle with the SEC did nothing to Ripple at all. So whatever the SEC had, they used against Ripple in that long year battles they were having. So for them to be able to appeal any part of this case, they need to have genuine grounds, which they don't have. And I said, even if the SEC tries to appeal it, it's going to get rejected. They have zero grounds. Whatever they had in their armor, they already used it against Ripple. Didn't really work out too well for them. Thank you very much. Let's go. Even the Miles of CMF peeps, Semper, good to see you. How you doing? So they have to have genuine grounds to go up against them again, which they don't have. They have nothing left in their armor. Gary knows that either way he's shafted, so he might as well leave with some dignity. Gary is #1 hated man on the planet Earth. Bloody weasel. Hello, Miles of CMF. Glenda, good to see you. How you doing? Loader is only saying that you have been saying this since last year, Miles. Yep. Gary knows his days are numbered and that he has to hang out for dry. He has no backup, and then there was one. Pretty much. And then there was one. Exactly. Hi, is Chainlink a good project? Jim, Chainlink is a great project. This little worm has been holding the US back for the rest of the world. He will do something good so that he will benefit as he exits, just like Gary the Weasel. So, number 2 seems to be his favorite number. Number 2 seems to be his favorite number. Now, BlackRock. BlackRock said something interesting regarding Bitcoin, which if anybody's holding Bitcoin or anybody's into Bitcoin, it's positive news for you. Interesting Bitcoin quote from BlackRock's senior manager. It may be wrong to consider it a risky asset. BlackRock's senior manager has just came out and said that Bitcoin is not a risky asset in their eyes. Despite Bitcoin's recent essentially correlation with the US stock market, BlackRock's head of digital assets, Ruby Michnik, essentially argues that labeling Bitcoin as a risky asset may not be true. In an interview with Bloomberg today, essentially Ruby highlighted Bitcoin's unique characters, which is more than in line with risk-off assets that has traditionally been viewed as a safe haven during times of market uncertainty. On Bloomberg Live today, BlackRock's senior manager said Bitcoin is not a risky asset, and it should not be classified or put in a category as a risky asset. It's more like a risk-off asset. Stocks, commodities, and high-yield bonds are considered risky assets that perform well during periods of market optimism, while risk-off assets are like gold, gain popularity during economic stress. Ruby drew parallels between Bitcoin and gold on live TV. noting that while both assets have shown periods of temporary correlation with stocks, their long-term correlation is close to zero. Gold shows a lot of the same patterns, Ruby said, adding that while you have these volatile periods over the long term, the correlation is close to zero. He emphasized that Bitcoin is essentially scarcity, decentralization, and lack of control by a single government, making more like a risk-off asset. BlackRock, a global leader in ETFs, offers products that invest in both Bitcoin and Ethereum, while many institutional investors view Bitcoin as a digital gold, a store of value in times of stress. Ruby essentially noted that narrative for Ethereum is a little less clearer regarding their ETF. The native cryptocurrency of Ethereum blockchain is widely used for decentralized applications, but has yet to gain some sort of perception as a safe haven asset. Bitcoin has gained 49% this year in total, while ETH has gained 15% and bolstered by the approval of the ETFs that were approved essentially into their holdings early 2024. So, two things BlackRock's senior manager of digital assets talked about when he was on a Bloomberg interview today. One, in his eyes, Bitcoin is not a risky asset. It's a risk-off asset. And if something is a risk-off asset, it's in the category of gold. So in BlackRock's eyes, they've officially said Bitcoin is in the same category as gold, full stop. And therefore, it's a risk-off asset rather than a risky asset. A risky asset is commodities, bonds, derivative stocks. A risk-off asset are safe havens like gold. So BlackRock's just essentially put Bitcoin in the same category as gold, full stop. Now, he was asked the same question about Ethereum, and he didn't give the same response. He said Ethereum is not a safe haven in any sort of a way, which means Ethereum is not a risk-off asset. It's a risky asset, which means Ethereum is alongside commodities, bonds, and derivatives and stocks. While as gold, in their eyes, is a risk-off asset, which means safe haven, gold. So there you go. Officially, BlackRock has just announced Bitcoin as a risk-off asset, which means it's in the same category as gold now. It's not a risky asset anymore in their eyes. It's a safe haven. Now, the next news we're going to talk about is a bank. So Commonwealth Bank has just launched Bitcoin and Ethereum services in Switzerland. Now, by the way, this is the third largest bank in Switzerland that's just opened their doors to cryptocurrencies, starting with Bitcoin and Ethereum services. So we're going to go through that news. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. Let's go see what's inside the comment section first, and then we go for that news. What will happen to trading bots like Royal Q, which is so popular in Africa, where people pay a fee of $120 to trade on their platform when regulation kicks in? Are they legit? No. Okay, regarding any sort of bots, please be careful with trading bots. Some of them are just scam bots. Especially if you're new inside the crypto space, the idea of making easy money is totally wrong in any sort of market space. Don't ever think it's easy to make money. It's really not. It's a risky market space. You gotta understand that. But for any essentially Royal Q or any sort of crypto exchange or platform, this question is based in Africa. It's in Africa, yep. It has to have essentially a licensing. So if Royal Q has a license to operate within the continent of Africa or within a jurisdiction that's based in Africa, then yes, it's legit in some sort of a way because there's licenses to operate. And if it doesn't, then no. So check if it has licensing. If it has a money transfer license, if it has an AML essentially license or KYC license, some sort of on those manners, then yes, it's able to operate. I was about to sell my Bitcoin, but after I saw that interview live today, I have changed my mind. Let's go, funky brother. Hi, Miles. Hope you're well, man. Zach, good to see you. How you doing, brother? Doing great. I'm doing great. Now, Commonwealth Bank. Commonwealth Bank has just launched Bitcoin and Ethereum services. The third largest, essentially, bank in Switzerland, Commonwealth Bank, has just basically made a groundbreaking move in the country's financial sector. According to the announcement that came out today, the bank is offering its clients the ability to deposit and withdraw Bitcoin and Ethereum. Starting on October 1st, 2024, this bank will become the first traditional bank in the country to integrate cryptocurrencies into its core banking service. So banks within the United States right now can hold your ETFs, for example, banks within the United States, and a lot of banks around the world can hold your ETFs, for example, Bitcoin ETFs and Ethereum ETFs. There's only a few banks that will actually handle your cryptocurrencies as crypto, not as ETFs. And this is about to become the first bank in Switzerland that will actually hold your assets, your crypto assets, not just ETFs. So this is why it's a groundbreaking news for Switzerland and the banking world. So Cantonal Bank to cater for retail and institutional clients. This initiative is set towards merging conventional banking with the rapid growth of the world of digital assets. Meanwhile, the bank's clients will buy, sell, deposit, and withdraw Bitcoin and Ethereum through their existing bank accounts. This means that this bank's customers can manage their crypto assets alongside their traditional holdings. This move simplifies access and provides peace of mind through secure and regulated banking channels. Additionally, the bank aims to cater to both retail and institutional clients. It depends on the recognized security standards for the custody of its cryptocurrencies. As more banks worldwide explore similar offerings, this particular bank's move could set a precedent in traditional banking sectors. This development underscores the growing acceptance of digital currencies as a legitimate part of the financial landscape. Zurich Bank, in other words, Zurich Cantonal Bank, ventures into crypto trading. Earlier in the month, the fourth largest institutional bank in Zurich, Cantonal Bank, introduced cryptocurrency trading to its users alongside traditional securities. Crypto participants in the region can now buy and sell Bitcoin and Ethereum while safeguarding security-related access information. Meanwhile, the bank also assured effective data security that could protect users. The bank mentioned that while it tends to be more centralized, it provides a user-friendly gateway for beginners inside the crypto asset space. It was noted that only customers based in Switzerland can access these sort of services and floated digital assets. They will essentially sign a trading and security agreement and a consent of declaration disclosure with any of their clients. So the third largest bank in Switzerland has just did a groundbreaking step, offering cryptocurrency services for starting with Bitcoin, Ethereum, but not just as ETFs, but for you to be able to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum through your banking app and keep it on your banking app. It's a groundbreaking move out of Switzerland, but it's also, Switzerland is known as the Bank of the World. So if they're doing it, sooner or later, everybody's going to follow inside the banking world. Which is just, these are just opening more doors. More money is going to be flowing inside the market space with all these doors opening from the banking world towards the digital world. Now, the next news we're going to talk about tonight's live show is another banking news, DBS Bank. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section. Let's see where we were at. Will that happen to... No, I was here. What up, Miles and family? Ray, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Miles, BNY applied today for custody of ETFs. That is true, yes. BNY Mellon applied for the custody services of ETFs. It's most likely going to get it because BNY Mellon was the only bank, you could say, exempt from the SAB 121 Act, which makes life difficult for banks when it comes to cryptocurrencies. But BNY Mellon was exempt by the SEC on that rule. So regarding them applying for those types of services, they're going to get a green light. But they still need another green light for their first services from the CFTC and another green light from the OCC as well. Miles, it might be safe haven, but all of the BlackRock's assets could be frozen during a Black Swan event. So until we have a complete clarity on crypto, I think gold will still be number one for safety. Fair point. Now, DBS Bank. DBS Bank to launch an innovative crypto structured products. Now, DBS Bank has been doing quite a lot of things inside the crypto space with their crypto offerings up to a certain extent, or mentioned they're going to be the crypto. So when it comes to innovation, DBS Bank is, in the banking world, is still leading up to a certain extent. In a significant move for the financial sector, DBS Bank, based out of Singapore, the largest bank, has announced its plans to introduce their over-counter OTC cryptocurrency options, structured notes linked to Bitcoin and Ethereum. This initiative is set to roll out in the fourth quarter of 2024, which positions DBS Bank as the first Asian headquartered bank to offer such a financial instrument tied to major cryptocurrencies. Expanding crypto offerings. The new products are designed for institutional and accredited essentially wealthy clients, allowing them to enhance their digital asset and portfolios. This expansion comes at an aimed at a notable increase in crypto market space, with DBS reporting that nearly 50% rise has been happening in total market capitalization within the first 5 months of 2024 when it comes to cryptocurrencies. The value of digital assets traded on DBS's digital exchange, DDX, essentially EX, has nearly tripled compared to the previous year, reflecting a growing interest among investors. Jackie Tai, the global head of trading and structuring at DBS Bank, emphasized that professional investors are increasingly allocating their portions of their portfolios to digital assets. The introduction of these structured products aims to provide clients with sophisticated investment strategies that can help manage and essentially bring exposure to this inherent volatility of crypto assets, a bullish indicator for the crypto adoption. Even though DBS Bank is offering this service to their wealthy clients, it's not for everybody, or their exchange that they have is only for their wealthy high-end clients. It's not for everybody inside the retail section. Either way, it's bringing money to the table inside the crypto space, and that's what we want. A bullish indicator for crypto adoption either way. DBS's entry into this space comes approximately 9 months after its launch of their Bitcoin exchange-traded ETFs in the United States, indicating a trend in how quickly traditional financial institutions are adapting to the evolving crypto landscape. This timing suggesting a bullish outlook for cryptocurrencies investments in Asia, potentially accelerating mainstream adoption as banks begin to recognize the value of cryptocurrencies and digital assets in their offerings. As DBS Bank prepares for this launch, it is clear that the bank is not only responding to market demand, but also positioning itself as a leader inside the field of crypto finance. Definitely is. DBS Bank is doing absolutely everything they can to be a part of the digital space with their crypto exchange that they have, that not the retail section can't have access to it, but the high profile institutional clients can have access to a digital, imagine Binance, but for institutions only, is what essentially DBS Bank is offering right now. For about 9 months, they've been offering this, and their customer base has tripled since they started and opened their doors on their crypto exchange. And now they're also going to be offering Bitcoin crypto services through their own banking app, which is going to bring more money to the table as we go along. And again, even though this is for high profile clients, it's still bringing money to the table. It's still bringing money to the same market space. And that's all that matters. More money on the table inside the crypto pot. So, next news on tonight's live show, moving off essentially DBS Bank to Solana. If you are somebody that's holding Solana, this is good news for you. Because Solana Labs partners with Google Cloud to launch Web3 API. Solana Labs, and Google Cloud recently launched Games Shift. So it seems like Solana Labs and Google are going towards the gaming sector. A lot of games are going to be pumping out their partnership. A gaming development API that aims to bridge traditional Web2 experiences with Web3 services, such as blockchain technology and digital asset management. The new suite of tools was announced at essentially the 2024 Solana Breakthrough Conference during the Gamer Village side stage events. GameShift is the next stage of 2 companies extending partnerships and is currently available on Google Cloud Marketplace, a Web2 to Web3 bridge. According to the blog post from Google Cloud themselves, GameShift is an API that provides a full suite of foundational Web3 services to projects hosted within the cloud ecosystem. The tool is largely aimed at developers working on traditional games who want to add Web3 components such as NFTs within the game or digital assets to their experiences in the game. It's prompted to do much more of the heavy lifting when it comes to integrating blockchain-based services from Solana to the platform. Jack, the director for games at Google Cloud, described the challenge of integrating the 2 worlds, the digital world of blockchain technology to the traditional world, essentially when it comes to the internet, as building one of the most advanced Okay, we are back. So this is what Google said. Jack, the director of games at Google. Game studios have recently been considering Web3 essentially for new approaches to growth and development, but often discouraged by the seeming complexities of technology and Web3 community. Game studios are already essentially overburdened and need solutions for game shift that provide simplified technical culture for interferences and Web3. So if you are somebody that's into Solana, if you are holding a lot of Solana, if you're somebody who's into gaming, this is major news for you. If you are holding Solana and if you love the idea of gaming, Google Cloud and essentially Solana have come together, and essentially that particular department, Jack, who's running the department for Google Cloud, is ecstatic about the news regarding Solana partnering with Google Cloud to bring Web3 games, which is great for Solana. It's going to bring a lot of money towards Solana from the gaming industry, and the gaming industry's market cap is humongous. Now, moving off Solana and gaming to another banking news. Commonwealth Bank in Australia has just essentially made the effort to enter into Web3. But before we go through that news, let's go inside the comment section first. Let's see where we were at. Miles, I asked you last year if you ever going to be doing the live trading or doing the charts, to which you said soon. Will you show us charts or how to trade spot trading? Miles, your lights out. Hello? Yes, I'm back. Yes, I'm going to put, I need to put a lot of documentations on the Telegram group. So regarding being able to trade, if anybody wants to learn how to trade, when it comes to spot trading or futures trading, which I prefer futures trading, but if anybody wants to learn how to do trades, a lot of things are coming towards the CMF, and they're going to be mostly inside a Telegram group. It's not going to be on live due to financial basis. And if you start doing trading on live, sometimes you get flagged for financial advice, and I don't want to get flagged for that in any sort of a way. But a lot of things are going to be inside the CMF Telegram group regarding futures trading, spot trading, and so on. So if you're not inside the Telegram group, join. And frankly, but I know you're inside the Telegram group already, but a lot of things are headed towards your way. But on live, I'm not sure for now to do it on live, just in case I get hit by some random warnings. So, but Telegram group. If anybody hasn't joined a Telegram group, by the way, and you want to learn, that's coming towards the Telegram group. So I would say if you haven't joined, join. It's completely free to join a Telegram group, and it's free forever. Everything I provide is completely free of source. I've never charged a single penny for anything that I do, if anybody's new and they're wondering. Commonwealth Bank is now what we're going to talk about. Commonwealth Bank leads Web3 efforts. Australia's largest financial institution, the Commonwealth Bank, CBA, has unveiled its latest ventures into Web3 domain. The bank is focusing on integrating stablecoins and tokenization for both domestic and international transactions, aiming to streamline essentially the payment processing systems. So what are CBA's Web3 projects? CBA's blockchain and digital asset director, Sophie shared insights during a recent crypto summit organized by Australia's Financial Review. Since 2016, the bank has engaged in various crypto-related initiatives. Notably, they are testing stablecoins tied to the Australian dollar, offering a swift and affordable transaction solution. Moreover, the CBA Bank is also exploring the potential of utilizing domestic blockchains to manage tokenized deposits. Domestic blockchains means the crypto projects that we have inside the crypto space to the public right now. So that could mean Ripple, that could mean XDC, that could mean XLM, that could mean Solana, that could mean Ethereum, that could mean AVAX, for example, is what they mean by the domestic, essentially, blockchains. But Australia right now is doing testing for tokenizations on domestic blockchains as well. Moreover, the CBA is exploring the potential of utilizing domestic blockchains to essentially manage tokenized deposits, which could revolutionize the efficiency of large-scale transactions. This exploration aligns with the bank with other major financial entities like JP Morgan and the People's Bank of China, which are also delving into similar technological advancements right now regarding domestic blockchains. So the Bank of Australia, not the Bank of Australia, but essentially Commonwealth Bank out of Australia, has just notified the entire world that the People's Bank of China, which means the Central Bank of China, is doing testings on domestic blockchains. So that could be Ripple, that could be XLM, that could be XDC, that could be AVAX, that could be Solana, that could be so on. When it comes to tokenization, is what the Commonwealth Bank of Australia just let out to the public. Will regulations hinder innovation? On the contrary, to prevailing views, Sophie contends that regulation is not the principal obstacle to crypto innovation. The real challenge lies in the lack of regulatory clarity, primarily due to the political space. Sophie pointed out that regulators have the means to assess existing products but are less equipped for pioneering offerings. She emphasized the necessities of political resolves and legislative updates to support technological progress. Key takeaways include stablecoins pegged to the Australian dollar are central to the CBA strategy. Tokenized deposits on a domestic blockchain may enhance transaction efficiency. Regulatory clarity, not regulation itself, is a bottleneck for innovation, and political action is crucial to advance legal frameworks in support of Web3, which is facts. And as Australia heads towards a national election in 2025, the stance of politicians on crypto industry remains uncertain in Australia, apparently. The conclusion of crypto policies in the electoral agenda is a topic of interest. The Commonwealth Bank's Web3 pursuit signifies a pivotal stride in Australian financial technology. However, for these advances to materialize, a cohesive effort between legal frameworks and political movements are imperative. Collaboration between financial institutions and the government is essential for successful adoption of cryptocurrency technologies. So that is what's happening in Australia right now. Commonwealth Bank is going headfirst into Web3. Commonwealth Bank also decided to share with the rest of the world that the Central Bank of China is using domestic blockchains for testings. Which means, the same blockchains that we're using inside, the retail section or the institutional section, which is Ripple or XLM or XDC or Solana or AVAX or Cardano or so on, is the same blockchains that the People's Bank of China, the Central Bank of China, is right now using for testings to see which one's the best fit for tokenization, is what the Commonwealth Bank of Australia just let go in their speech without knowing that they've just said that. Now, moving off Commonwealth news, Commonwealth Bank news, to another banking news. There's so much banking news today. There's a lot of things happening in the banking world that's all relatable to cryptocurrencies. And this one is AVAX and Citibank. Citibank has just essentially filed a documentation for patenting on the AVAX chain. So Citibank has been doing testings on AVAX on a subnet green for a while now. The same time, essentially, JP Morgan decided to do testings on Citibank. The same time that JP Morgan decided to do testings on a subnet green on AVAX was about 2-3 months later, Citibank decided to do testings on a subnet green on AVAX's chain as well, Avalanche, which it turns out it was probably successful because Citibank just did a patent on AVAX's chain. Information always seems to... Before I go through that news, let's go inside the comment section first. Miles, can you share this document, please? Yes. Shelly, I'll put it inside a Telegram group. Information always seems to accidentally get leaked somehow. Long. So, AVAX. AVAX gets boost as Citi files a patent. Citi, one of the largest financial institutions, is expanding a project it started on Avalanche. This time, filing it with a patent on a system that facilitates a double-layer restriction subnet architecture. You have to be confident to patent something on a blockchain to say, yep, this is the one. It shows immense amount of confidence. Citi filed for the patent with the USPTO recently, describing a system that overcomes the technical limitations of conventional blockchains and their subnets. In its application, Citi says that the double layers architecture it is building is made up of a series of permissioned subnets, which provides both the security/privacy benefits of permissioned blockchains, but also the scalability of subnet efficiency. The system seeks to solve the challenges of unauthorized access to digital communication by third parties. It notes that while blockchain-based encryption can curb the challenge, integrating blockchain remains a challenge for most. not least for its technical challenges. For instance, the instructions in a smart contract can be amended even if the conditions change, which leaves them vulnerable to malicious attacks. This is what they said, quote unquote, this is what Citi said. These security concerns, in turn, present challenges to integrating blockchain technology into traditional centralized software infrastructures. Similarly, information posted to blockchain becomes public, which can lead to privacy concerns, Citi says. The easiest fix is using a permissioned blockchain. However, this comes with its own sets of challenges, including creating a centralized attack targets and a lack of decentralization, which limits the benefits of a blockchain. With a public blockchain, the best fix is the use of its subnets, which are secondary networks built on top of the original layer 1 chain for specific use cases. Subnets in the blockchain world have been popularized by Avalanche, which each subnet is regarded as a sovereign network, which defines its own rules regarding its memberships and token economics. So it seems like for Citi, I mean, they're very proud about using AVAX because their subnets are doing wonders for them. But even though subnets are not foolproof, Citi notes that if the underlying network has security or scaling issues, the subnets inherit the same, risking their users. The $117 billion American Bank purposes a solution that has a double layer restriction subnet architecture. That's going to be happening on AVAX. In a particular double layer restriction subnet architecture, it compromises a series of permission subnets, which provides both the security and privacy benefits of permissioned blockchains, but also the scalability of subnet efficiencies, the bank says. The patent application by Citi builds on its work on Avalanche from earlier this year. As we reported, the bank tested the tokenizations of private equities funds on a Spurs subnet, on a subnet green subnet on AVAX. It patented with the Wellington management, a $1.4 trillion investment manager, and Wisdom Tree, an ETF expert. So it seems like AVAX is the chosen one for Citi, without a doubt, especially with their patenting with a $1.4 trillion investment manager that's involved in this patent as well, Citi. And then Wisdom Tree, in other words, was the one that's involved with Citi. Incredible for AVAX. I've always said AVAX is a very underrated chain. Very, very underrated blockchain is, in my opinion, is AVAX. Everybody overlooks AVAX. Everybody looks towards Solana. Everybody saying now the next chain is Base Network. AVAX is great, and it's definitely being overlooked. There's a lot of chains that are being overlooked. I mean, Ton is a great ecosystem. I've said that since day one. Ton is an amazing ecosystem as well. But AVAX, it just keeps on getting overlooked by everyone inside the crypto space. Because everybody's too focused on Solana or next Base. Start looking into AVAX. Start reading up on AVAX. JP Morgan is on AVAX on a subnet green. Citi just filed a patent on AVAX after testing on it for over a year. The test must have been successful because that patent, $1.4 trillion asset manager is involved, Wisdom Tree. I mean, it's just incredible. And, sorry, Wisdom Tree, not Wisdom Tree's 1.4 trillion assets, and Wisdom Tree is involved. But incredible when it comes to AVAX. Now, onto another banking news, and moving off essentially Citibank and AVAX to another Swiss bank who's just opened their doors to the crypto space with another bank also involved with this Swiss bank. But before we go through that news, let's go inside the comment section. Let's see where we're at. Is HOT still a long-term promising project? Essentially in the Web3 space, yes. Definitely. In the Web3 space, yes. Long-term data storage as well, yes. For me, it's a long-term project when it comes to HOT. Not a short-term project in any sort of a way. But there's a lot of projects out there that I would put above HOT project. For example, the financial projects like XRP, XLM, XDC, ACH, and HBAR, I would put above, and essentially AVAX above HOT. So some projects that I will put above HOT, but HOT in my eyes, it's still a long-term project, is what I would have to say. Even the name, patent, is serious. No, patent as in they patent in a file, not patent the name, but as in they patent in a file. It's on documentations in a simple way. Now, Swiss banks. Swiss banks collaborate to, and he said lol, I'm guessing sarcasm, sorry. Swiss banks collaborate to test blockchain-based Swiss francs. Post Finance, UBS Bank, and Sagem are looking into a blockchain-based digital Swiss francs under Swiss Bankers Association. The project, dubbed Digital Currencies, aims to revolutionize the financial sector of Switzerland. The banks, these three banks, will test a digital Swiss francs deposit token using a distributed ledger technology, DLT, and smart contracts, creating a digital payment system. The project centers on creating a deposit token based on blockchain. This token serves like a conventional bank, essentially deposit, the same way the banks do. The proof of concept, POC, will assess two primary use cases. These are direct payments between the banks and deliveries against payment transactions with escrow. The deposit token combines the reliability of banking with innovation of blockchain technology. Using DLT, the bank aims to enhance transaction speed, security, and cost effectiveness. If they're using DLT services, they can be using domestic blockchains or private chains as well. More cases, it's going to be domestic blockchains. A memorandum of understanding, an MOU, guides the alliance. It describes how the bank creates fun and it essentially evaluates the POC movements. Together, Post Finance, UBS Bank, and Citibank Bank will address legal, technical, and operational challenges. This cooperation seeks to assess the possibilities for more extensive digital franc developments. This project considers the factors like economic impacts, regulatory needs, and operational risks. Per recent reports, the completion of the POC is expected by 2025. Now, they haven't said Swiss francs are going to be ready end of 2025, middle of 2025, or beginning of 2025. It's just within 2025. And just to point out, there's a lot of essentially centralized banks coming up with CBDCs next year and stablecoins next year. A lot of countries around the world. Transforming banking. The pilot signals a shift in Swiss banking towards digital transformation. The bank wants to change conventional operations to new frameworks by digitalizing consumer deposits, by introducing blockchain into basic banking services. This initiative transacts essentially mirror cryptocurrency offerings. Should it be effective, it could be essentially affect sector access and openness. Still, there are difficulties, especially in managing cross-border transactions and regulatory compliance. The Digital Swiss Francs initiative could significantly impact Switzerland's financial ecosystem. The project seeks to enhance transaction efficiency and reduce costs for both banks and their customers. The shift towards digital currencies fits the world patterns and helps Switzerland to establish a leadership in financial creativity. Honestly, it makes a lot of sense. Switzerland has always been known as the bank of the world. So if Switzerland is doing quite a lot of advancements with having one particular city, the Laguna city in Switzerland. You can use cryptocurrency, Bitcoin especially, to pay off your taxes, your rent, your mortgage, your loans in Switzerland. Banks in Switzerland are getting involved in a lot of testings and tokenizations and banknotes and such tokenization of bonds, securities, derivatives, gold, everything. And with this particular bank doing these types of movements for Swiss francs, and the project could be ended in 2025 to start the deployment. These are all major, essentially, announcements coming out of Switzerland. Very major announcements. Now, what we're going to talk about next is Bybit. Particularly because Bybit Exchange has decided to offer a service that no other cryptocurrency exchange is offering, because it's only for particular users. But those particular users, it's a big population. And that is, and it's also something that a lot of people tell me as well. A lot of people who are religious, sometimes they have difficulties on what they can and can't do inside the crypto space. So there's an issue for some people inside the crypto space because of their religion. They can't get, for example, they can't borrow against their assets when it comes to cryptocurrencies because due to their religion. And for people who are not religious, you can pretty much do whatever you want inside the crypto space. So Bybit is about to be offering the world's first ever Islamic crypto accounts. Bybit pioneers Islamic crypto accounts with support for USDT, BTC, Ethereum, and 15 other tokens. So if you are a religious person and due to your religion, you can't do certain activities inside the crypto space. It could be futures trading. It could be borrowing against your crypto assets because you can't do that due to your religion. If you sign up as a Bybit user on their exchange, by the way, Bybit is one of the world's largest exchanges. If you sign up through Bybit exchange, and when you go to sign up, it says log in if you're a current user. It says join as a new user. And now there's a third option, which says Islamic accounts, which means you can click on that and sign up due to your religious basis. And they will offer you services under Sharia law. Bybit, one of the largest crypto exchanges, has launched a new products that will essentially compliant with Islamic law, including accounts with zero interest. Because if you are essentially a very religious person and a Muslim regime, interest is a big issue. So if you sign up as an Islamic account on Bybit, it's 0% interest because they can't charge you interest due to your religion, as it targets the Muslim faith. CEO and co-founder Ben announced the new products on X, describing them as the world's first ever crypto Islamic accounts. Bybit worked with Malaysia's based ICO Sharia Advisor Services to ensure that the accounts were fully compliant with Sharia principles. These accounts will be available to Muslims globally and will offer services such as spot trading, spot grid bot, DCA, essentially dollar cost averaging trading bots, and ICOs. Spot grid bots place buy orders below and sell orders above the reference prices, but the differences between the buy and sell orders being the profit. Dollar cost averaging bots, on the other hand, purchase a set of amount of set cryptos at regular intervals and suiting specific risk tolerance profits. The exchange further pledged to practice ethical financial practices, such as committing to non-conforming funds and transparent fee structures that offer straightforward trading. Because when it comes to the Sharia law, the Islamic religion, there's no such thing as dodgy behavior. It has to be upfront. The trade costs and so on, they all have to be upfront, has to be fully transparent due to their religion. To start with, the exchange has selected 19 tokens for the Muslim investors. These include Bitcoin. So under Sharia law, these tokens have got a green light. So Bitcoin under Sharia law has got a green light within Bahrain, Kuwait, and so Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, which is a lot of money. These countries have a lot of money to play around with, but this is a service that's going to be offered globally. So Bitcoin is going to be offered to these account holders. XRP on the Sharia law is going to be offered to these account holders. Uniswap is going to be offered under these account holders. Ethereum, Algorand, Ethereum Classic, Solana, and stablecoins such as USDT and USDC, and a few other tokens, but these are the ones they decide to point out: Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, Algorand, Ethereum Classic, Solana, and stablecoins such as USDT and USDC, because these tokens apply under Sharia law. Bybit targets 1.9 billion Muslims with Sharia law accounts. Bybit has become the first major exchange to target Muslim investors, especially today. There are close to 2 billion Muslims globally, making up at least 25% of the population in Africa, Asia, and South Asia. In Central Asia, the Middle East, and North American regions, they make up 90% of the population. Beyond the sheer population numbers, the Muslim economy has been growing rapidly in the past decades. Some studies suggest that the Islamic finance is worth $3.9 trillion today. The crypto world, despite being viewed as an inexclusive world for the marginalized, has failed to capture this vast demographic, is coming out of Bybit, essentially. And that's why Bybit decided to pounce on this idea. One of the biggest hindrances has been a lack of clear consensus on whether crypto is halal for these Muslim regions. Initially, crypto was seen as a purely speculative discouragement when it comes to most Muslims from investing. However, Other interpretations have obtained that all currencies are speculative to some extent, and as such, crypto isn't uniquely against Muslim principles. Since then, crypto has diversified into other use cases, including payments, which qualify it for investment by the Muslim faithful. It has also expanded to tokenization, sparking the rise of Sharia-compliant tokens representing real-world assets. For Bybit Exchange, the bet on Muslim world is long-term. The exchange moved its global headquarters to Dubai back in 2022. It recently received a provisional license from Dubai's Virtual Asset Regulator Authority this month and further cemented its position in the Middle East. Bybit has all the licensings that they need to have to operate within the Middle East regions under Sharia law and so on. So they have all the licenses. They're fully legit, and now they're offering Islamic assets. Some people have asked me in the past that essentially they can't borrow against their crypto assets due to the interest issue, because in the Muslim culture and religion, interest is a big issue and you can't charge interest. But now you can, if you want to get essentially an Islamic account from Bybit, it's zero interest. So when the time comes, you want to borrow against your crypto assets, it's zero interest. So if you are, wondering how can I borrow against my crypto assets due to my religion, well, Bybit is your solution. But now, putting that also to one side, what Bybit is offering is huge for these particular crypto assets, because, as somebody just pointed out inside the comment section, I was about to say it. Funky Brother just pointed it out. I was just about to say it. It was a tip of my tongue. And Funky Brother said it. That is a huge news by Bybit, because they are targeting Saudi sheiks, which is facts. Bybit is not only doing this because they care about the religion, but Bybit is doing this for money purposes, okay? Because we are talking about a humongous, essentially, clientele list that didn't want to enter the crypto space due to the crypto space not being faithful towards their religion. And we are now talking about essentially Saudi sheiks. We're talking about, the royal families of Saudi Arabia, the royal families of essentially Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, and a lot of other wealthy, essentially, people that are within these countries that didn't enter the crypto space due to their religion purposes. We are talking about a incredible wealthy list of people that are about to be entering the crypto space because of Bybit. But not only that, do you know what the icing or the cherry on top of this story is? The tokens they're allowed to buy only is Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. But they title it as, they can only buy Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, and Solana, and USDT, and just a few other tokens. So we are talking about the most wealthiest people on this planet are about to be entering the crypto space, and the only tokens they can buy under their religion is Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, and Solana. So imagine the amount of money that's about to be entering the crypto space just towards those tokens, because they're the only ones that apply to Sharia law. So the cherry on top is that it's not to every cryptocurrency. The cherry on top is it's a basket of cryptocurrencies, a handful, not even a basket, a handful of cryptocurrencies are going to be available for sale. And it's Bitcoin, and they listed it. They said Bitcoin, XRP number 2, Ethereum number 3, Ethereum Classic, and Solana. The most wealthiest people on the planet pretty much are about to be entering, and they can only buy those tokens because they're the only ones that apply to Sharia law. So that's the cherry on top. So if you're inside the crypto space, this is humongous news. One, well done to Bybit for doing this venture, for thinking of this idea to launch it. Two, very happy that the list of tokens that are within that. I mean, it's amazing, the token list that they are offering to these. It's incredible. I mean, the cherry on top is that. But the most wealthiest people are about to be entering from Kuwait, from Bahrain, from Qatar, from Saudi Arabia. Crazy. Absolutely crazy news. But also, this is great news for people who are within that religion as well. As I said, great news for somebody that's within that religion. It's zero interest accounts. Zero interest accounts. So if you want to borrow against your assets later on with, you want to borrow against your crypto assets to, not pay tax, because you don't pay tax on debt. So if you use your crypto assets as collateral, you have to you skip on tax because you can't pay tax on debt. That's the only way to skip crypto tax, to borrow against your crypto assets, because you don't pay tax on debt. But if you do it now through Bybit, later on they're going to be offering you 0 interest on borrowing against your crypto assets. Imagine that, no fees, borrowing against your crypto assets. But that's only because if you're a religious person. Now, on the subject of are they going to check who is religious and who isn't, they haven't said, and I don't think they can find out if you are, Islamic or not, to get a 0 interest account. But I think later on they'll probably figure out some sort of a way, because I think a lot of people are going to apply to join Bybit with an Islamic account, so they get a 0 interest account when it comes to even borrowing against their assets, which I think a lot of people are going to use that, to their advantage point, which is what essentially somebody said, I think right now, it's in the comment section. When the money involves, it is no halal, Bybit can help it, respect of religion. Yep. Outstanding, well played. Bybit though, yeah, honestly, the most wealthiest people on this, one of the most, so many wealthy people are about to be entering the crypto space, and they can only buy Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, and Solana. That's all they can buy, pretty much. And a few other tokens, some stable coins. But this is amazing news for those tokens. This is amazing news for that religion. This is amazing news for 0 interest accounts for those people. Wealthiest people are about to be entering. I'm going to close my Coinbase account and move to Bybit, is what Funky Brother said. So share this live show with everyone, and we're about to go through some major Ripple news now as well. Well, let's go to the comment section first. We still have some banking news to go through, some major XRP banking news as well to go through. On the top of that news as well, what can Chainlink reach price-wise? Quite high. It depends though. It depends on regulations. It makes sense that one of the world's safest cold storage wallets comes from Switzerland. I agree. Is ICP not also located in Switzerland? That's right. We are not allowed to borrow money from banks, and we must avoid anything with interest as much as possible with our means. It's true regarding that religion. Yeah. That is such a huge news by Bybit. They are targeting Saudi sheiks. Facts. I'm going to close my Coinbase account and move to Bybit, is what Funky Brother said. Brother, keep it halal all the way, is what Funky Brother said. Outstanding, well played Bybit, Ray. More money entering into the market space. Facts. When there is the money involves, there is no halal. Bybit can't help respect religion. How can this platform know that the account creators are genuinely Islamic and not people just trying to avoid interest? I don't think for the time being they'll be able to tell who is religious and who isn't. I think a lot of people are just going to start applying for Bybit with 0 interest accounts. But here's the thing. If you're not religious, first of all, if you're not religious, it's wrong to do that. For example, I'm not Muslim. So, for me to get an Islamic account, it's wrong because I'm not Muslim, and that's for people who are Muslim. So that's wrong. But I think a lot of people are going to be doing it. It's quite difficult for them to tell who is and who isn't, because everybody just wants to get 0 interest. But what you've got to understand is you're limited on what you can buy. You got to understand that part as well. So you're limited on what you can buy. So if you are somebody that's not religious and you're thinking 0 interest, this is great, and you go to sign up for it, you're limited on what you can buy. Remember that. Yes, it is 0 interest when you borrow against anything on your crypto assets. It's fully 0 interest, no fees whatsoever, no banking fees, no collateral fees, no nothing. 0 interest. But you're limited on what you can buy as well. You can remember that as well. But I think it's still a lot of people are going to sign up and pretend to be Muslim just to get a 0 interest account. For what's wrong to do that? I'm not, religious. I believe in God, but I'm not Muslim. So it's wrong for me to do that as well, which I won't be doing either. I'll rather pay the fees off because I don't want to do that. It's disrespectful. So I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just going to keep the accounts that I have, and I'm more than happy to pay fees and so on. But if you are religious, that's a great entry door for you. But the most incredibly wealthiest people are about to be entering the crypto space, and all they can buy is Bitcoin, XRP, and Ethereum. This is from Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia. Incredibly wealthy people. How can this we were here? We were here. How can this platform? They would have built it up. Just what the 1.9 billion of Muslims needed. Let's go wrong a bit. For what the wars happened isn't for many. From the wars dropped human blood, the crypto is source for money. What about if I'm Jewish? I also go by no interest law. If if you are Jewish and you go by no interest law, then probably you can sign up as well if you want to do. It's a zero interest account. That's okay, Miles. We just buy XRP. Let's go, funky brother. Will be recorded. Sign up for a lot of John Smith's law, but Bybit is banned in the UK. Oh, yeah, it is banned in the UK, but everywhere else is open doors. Bybit is available in all Middle Eastern countries, all Asian countries, and even in the EU, if I'm not mistaken. It just has difficulties in the UK, unfortunately. Maybe more people might look into Islam and genuinely turn to Islam and become Muslims, and it was a win-win situation. They will probably give half value. They will probably give half value if you judge. Yeah, I don't know on that matter, but you can ask Bybit. I mean, if you want to, a zero interest account, zero interest on anything, no collateral, borrowing against your crypto assets, zero fees in general. Now, Ripple launches a major token series for Miles. There will be a lot of crypto investors becoming friends with the UAE. There will be a lot of crypto investors becoming friends with the UAE. Yes, definitely. Now, moving on from that major announcement Bybit just made for an entire religious basis to, I don't think it's available in the US. I know that Bybit's just doing it for money, but it is racist, not fair. Yeah, they are doing it for money. Bybit is fully doing it for money, but what you should care about is money, because you're inside a market space. It's all about money, making money. If you're inside any sort of market space, this is all about making money. But now things are a little bit more easier based on your religion, based on a particular religion, and you can enter through Bybit now. For those people that would never want to invest inside a crypto space, now they can, and they can only buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. Now, Ripple. Moving on from Bybit's news, which was a major announcement from Bybit, to Ripple. Ripple launches regarding their major token series for RLUSD stablecoin. So we all know that Ripple is coming up with a stablecoin, which is probably going to be offered through Bybit's exchange when it does come out, because if XRP is under Sharia law, then most likely Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin is going to be under Sharia law as well. So according to XRP scan data, Ripple has issued 2 significant RLUSD series, each sized at 485 RLUSD. Today's issuance represents the largest since the project's inception at the end of August. There's one particular, essentially, quote and sentence that came out of this news, which we're going to get to. This strict decision to increase supply through these series aligns with the ongoing efforts to test and scale RLUSD in various blockchain environments. The community following the developments of RLUSD has shown great interest as it views these series as milestones on the roadmap towards a fully scaled launch. The increase in token supply aims to provide more data and user feedback necessary to enhance token performance and stability. In the last 24 hours, the stablecoin tracker reported that 100 RLUSD tokens were burned in 2 batches alongside the issuance. This demonstrates the strategic approach to the managing and circulating supply of essentially the testings that are still going on RLUSD, and it is going to be launched the endings of this year. The burning process involves permanently removing tokens from circulation, helping to control inflation and stabilize this Ripple's essentially RLUSD stablecoin against the US dollar. Currently, this is merely to check whether the functions are operating correctly before Ripple launches their stablecoin. Now, the dual strategy of minting and burning RLUSD is critical for testing economic mechanisms that support the validity of the market. This approach ensures that the stablecoin maintains its connection to the dollar while testing liquidity arrangements on the XRP ledger and Ethereum's platform. Now, what I'm interested about is the testing is going successful. Great. Ripple stablecoin is doing good on testings. Amazing news. This is the part I'm interested about. Supported by Bitwise's CIO. Bitwise's CIO has decided to come out of nowhere and say this about Ripple. As Ripple prepares for RLUSD broader launch, significant financial figures have shared their perspectives on the potential market impact Bitwise's CIO, Matt Hugan, highlighted a promising outlook, especially with the anticipated conclusion of the SEC lawsuit. This is what he said, word for word, quote for quote. This is what Matt Hugan said, the CIO of Bitwise, on the matter of Ripple and XRP ETFs. The expected regulatory clarity, because there are still some people inside the crypto space till this day that say, Ripple didn't win against the SEC, which is absurd because yes, Ripple did win against the SEC. If you don't have to read documentations, law documentations, then don't have an opinion on the matter. But the expected regulatory clarity with the case's resolution may pave the way for the launch of a spot XRP ETF, further validating, that is word for word from Matt Hugan, the CIO of essentially Bitwise, that the expected regulatory clarity with the case's resolution is going to be paving the way for the launch of a spot XRP ETF, further validating the market confidence on XRP. Those are the words from essentially Matt Hugan, CIO of Bitwise. Now, on more Ripple news, major banks adapt Ripple and XRP to speed up global payments. You might be asking, who are these banks that you're talking about right now? JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and Deutsche Bank. In there is a PDF documentation that's surfaced. And on this PDF documentation, XRP has been mentioned to improve their cross-border payment systems. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and Deutsche Bank have all adapted Ripple's blockchain and XRP to improve cross-border payments for wire transfers. They aim to make essentially interactions faster and cut costs. Many banks are turning to blockchain innovation as it offers more efficient method systems compared to older methods. Traditional bankings have struggled with slow and expensive international exchanges. Banks have found it harder to compete as customers demand less time and cheaper services. The token's technology gives them the chance to meet these needs by allowing real-time global cash transfers without delay. How blockchain helps banks. XRP's blockchain helps banks make deals faster and cheaper. By using Ripple's company, can process payments in real time without high costs. This also helps manage liquidity more efficiently. As global sales, banks need a better way to handle withdrawals, and Ripple provides a solution. Blockchain's technology cuts down on the cost and the time needed to process essentially these international deposits. Existing banking methods, however, involve higher tax rates and longer wait times. Ripple solves this by providing a fast and scalable solution for institutions to offer to their clients. Businesses that fail to adapt to these new systems will lose out on the fintech companies that offer quicker services. So banks that don't adapt to the crypto world and to those cross-border payments and tokenizations will get left behind, which is what I've always said regarding banks. Cryptocurrencies adds a new revenue stream. Cryptocurrencies also provide banks with new ways to make money. Banks like Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan now offer electronic crypto trading services that bring in extra revenue through settlement fees. In addition, Deutsche Bank offers secure storage for digital assets through its custody service. Furthermore, tokenization platforms give banks another way to grow their income. For example, Goldman Sachs has a platform where their investors can turn into real-world assets into tokens. This helps banks reach more investors and new services to bring to more clients. But this PDF document that's just resurfaced, Goldman Sachs, Deutsche Bank, JP Morgan, XRP has been mentioned on all their PDF documentations. Now, to add more on top of that regarding banks, Goldman Sachs, I don't know. Apparently it's YouTube that cuts out first, not X. Apparently it's YouTube that cuts out first and it's not X. Now, XRP, to add more on top of the banking news regarding Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and so on, XRP highlighted in the SWIFT recent collaboration as well. XRP has been mentioned alongside SWIFT in the PDF documentations of SWIFT. The blockchain and the crypto communities are closely watching the recent collaboration between SWIFT Payments Network and R3. Now, R3 Corridor is XDC, which could have key implications for Ripple's native crypto XRP as well, because XRP is also mentioned in documentations. Cryptocurrency enthusiasts and XRP, essentially enthusiasts, recently highlighted a proof of concept that involves SWIFT's global payment innovation, along with R3's distributed ledger technology platform Corda, wherein XRP could play a crucial role in terms of their settlement, but it's also stated on the documents. The developments has also triggered discussions regarding the potential adoption of digital assets like XRP within traditional financial infrastructures. SWIFT and R3 collaboration. As per the details, SWIFT, which is the well-established leader in cross-border payment systems, is working with blockchain platform R3 Corda to explore new settlement capabilities. As said, this partnership seeks to integrate SWIFT's GPI into R3 Corda's platform. This integration will be a part of the broader proof of concept that will create a more efficient settlement layer for DLT-based ecosystems. This collaboration aims to integrate SWIFT's GPI directly within R3 Corda's platform, facilitating cross-border transactions that settle in fiat currencies. This initiative marks a significant advancement in enhancing interoperability between traditional financial systems and blockchain networks. This visual essentially suggests that both organizations share a common goal to develop settlement capabilities for distributed ledger technologies, DLT ecosystems. However, it is important to note that the proof of concept has not yet been commercialized. How can XRP play a crucial role here now? Now, everyone is talking about the role of XRP as a settlement asset within the system. As we know, XRP plays a crucial role in facilitating instant cross-border settlements on the XRP ledger. The diagram, essentially, there's an image that was released with this particular news that I'm obviously can't be showing, but I will put that information inside the Telegram group regarding the diagram that was shown on the PDF documentations from SWIFT regarding the matter of essentially XRP and cross-border payments. So, the diagram highlights the choice to settle transactions using either SWIFT's GPI or cryptocurrencies, especially citing XRP. On the diagram that's on the documentations, it says you can use SWIFT's GPI to settle cross-border payments or XRP. On the PDF, it says you can use SWIFT for essentially handling the cross-border payments or XRP. Cryptocurrency, especially citing XRP as an example. This implies that XRP may serve as an intermediary to enhance liquidity between various fiat currencies on Corda's platform, R3 Corda's platform. The inclusion of XRP in its context is important for several reasons. Firstly, it underscores the potential for digital assets to significantly contribute to cross-border payments, especially when integrating with established financial networks. In the latest development, SWIFT has also announced its intentions to facilitate the settlement of digital asset transactions through its global interbanking messaging network. Additionally, it is exploring ways to enable the settlement of tokenized assets, which plans to extend this support to include central bank digital currencies once major economics are launched. Then, massive news. SWIFT and XRP, massive news. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and the other rest of the banking group, XRP, Ripple, massive news. Incredible news, absolutely incredible news. Now, I thought it was Restream. Need to show my father. Can you send? No problem. Mouse, you froze again. Did I freeze? I'm back. Let's see. Mouse, say that again. You froze. Did I say it again? I used to trade on Bybit for a year before it got banned in the UK, and I can confirm Bybit is a bit dodgy. They're sending out wicks that they don't see the wicks on any other chart just to take you out. Can you link this PDF? Yes, I can link the news, no problem. About that, and the PDFs, the pictures of the PDFs are there. Need to show my father, no problem. I thought it was Restream. Same until JP told me it was actually YouTube that keeps on it. Always YouTube first. I switch from both. I'm on X and it cuts out as well. Oh, Ray, thank you so much for the donation of $2. Thank you so much for the donation of $2. It's going straight towards the startup of the CMF hedge fund. Absolutely amazing. Let's go. The transmission issue must be a genuine problem because you didn't say anything that powers that didn't to the ear log. Yeah, true. Very, very true. Let's see where we were. I think I missed a few comments as well. I think it was here. I know about Bybit just doing money. Yeah, Bybit works fine, but also offers a crypto bank card in the EU. That's true. As you said, Miles, if you in this market, don't show emotions. Let's come on. Miles, say that again. You froze. I used to trade on Bybit. Yep. Now I've read all the comments. Okay. If anybody's got questions, go for it. Let's do a slight Q&A if anybody's got any questions. If not, I'm going to do a gist of what we talked about on tonight's live show because we've pretty much reached the endings of tonight's live show. So we went through major news regarding XRP and SWIFT. We went through major news regarding Ripple, XRP, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and Deutsche Bank. We went through major news regarding Ripple's stablecoin and Bitwise CEO's perspective on the matter of XRP ETFs. We went through major news regarding Bybit offering zero interest accounts to Muslim regions, which is about 1.9 billion people. I mean, it's crazy, 1.9 billion people. The most wealthiest people are about to be entering the crypto space, and they can only buy Bitcoin, XRP, Solana, and Ethereum on the Sherry law. We also went through major news regarding Swiss Bank collaborating to launch Swiss francs by 2025. We also went through another major news regarding Citibank filing a patent on AVAX's chain. We also went through another major news regarding Commonwealth Bank in Australia opening their doors and going headfirst into Web3 technology, and they've been testing on it since 2016. We also went through another major news regarding Solana Labs partnering up with Google for the gaming industries. We also went through another major news on tonight's live show regarding DBS Bank launching two innovative crypto structured products. We also went through another major news on tonight's live show regarding Catanol Bank offering Bitcoin and Ethereum services, but something that they can do essentially on their own banking app. We also went through another major news regarding BlackRock mentioning that Bitcoin is a risk-off asset, not a risky asset anymore, which means it's a safe haven asset coming from BlackRock. We also went through some other major news regarding Gary Gensler apologizing for once in his life of the way he's treated the crypto space towards Congress. We also went through some other major news regarding China's 50 basis points as well, matching the United States, and BlackRock amending their contracts. So crazy. Crazy news, absolutely. Today was just amazing. The banking news that was just coming in today, back to back, the banking news was absolutely immense. That bit was funky said. Can you repeat? Not the last news, the one before. Not the last news. Not the last news, the one before. The one before was JP Morgan. JP Morgan was the one before. Yeah. So JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and Deutsche Bank adapted Ripple's blockchain XRP and some other services they're offering. Is that what you're referring to? But the gist of it essentially is JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and Deutsche Bank have adapted Ripple's blockchain and XRP to improve cross-border wire transfers. Very short, simple way. Is that what you're referring to? But the amazing news regarding JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and Deutsche Bank. Good night, Miles and CMF. Mike, see you tomorrow about the same time as usual. Why don't SWIFT use XLM or XDC for cross-border payments, as they are just as good as XRP? Because they have different purposes. XLM has retail section purposes. XDC is actually a part of R3 Corridor, so that's going to be used within it as well. As SWIFTs are more established, they are. Good night, Miles and CMF. See you tomorrow. Orphan, see you tomorrow sometime as usual. Good night, Miles and CMF. See you tomorrow. Another bullish live show. Thank you. We are all going to win. Stay happy, stay positive. That's all that matters. Let's go, chill zone. See you tomorrow sometime as usual. Good night, Miles and CMF. Free and forever. See you tomorrow sometime as usual. Gold news. XRP Sherman. Thank you so much for that comment. And we have reached the... We appreciate Miles. Have a lovely night, CMF. Lena, see you tomorrow sometime as usual. Banks everywhere acting shady as always lately. Take care, Miles and CMF. Ray, see you tomorrow sometime as usual as well. I will be seeing. We've also reached the endings of tonight's live show as well. That's why everyone's saying goodbye in the comment section. So if you enjoyed this live show, drop a follow, drop a like, and tune into it every single night. You can tune into this live show tonight at 11:25 p.m. UK time onwards. It's called the CMF Live Show. It stands for Crypto Mouse Family. I've been doing this over a year and a half. This is episode 164. You can tune into this live show every single night at 11:25 p.m. onwards UK time. Gold today, sir. Gold night. Good night, sir. Miles, Toby. See you tomorrow same time as usual. See you tonight same time as usual. Banks everywhere I can share. Yep, they when bull run start. Jim, give a little bit of time. Night, Miles. Pablo. See you tonight same time as usual. Nice news tonight is so positive for the crypto markets. Thanks, Miles. Good night, Miles. CMF Jason. Let's go. See you tonight same time as usual. Good night, sir. Toby. See you tonight same time as usual. Night, Miles. CMF. Another brilliant live. Let's go. See you tonight, same time as usual. Thanks, Miles. Appreciate your dedication to our group. Lots of things are happening under the surface, night and day. Oh, let's go, Shelly. See you tonight, same time again. I'll be in the. Thanks, Miles. Good night. God bless. Callie, let's go. See you tonight, same time as usual. I'll be in the UK next week. Let's go, XRP Sherman. Thank you so much to everybody that tunes in every single night in this live show. The CMF live show stands for Crypto Miles. I talk about the most recent news that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulation. You can tune this live show every single night, 11:25 p.m. UK time onwards. And the disclaimer of this live show, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. You can also join the CMF Telegram group, which, if you are beginning inside the crypto space, a beginner inside the crypto space, and you want to be in a safe place inside the crypto space, definitely join the CMF on Telegram. The link is on X. The link is on YouTube. If you just click on the link on my profile, there's one link there. Click on it, and then Telegram group for CMF. Amazing place to be if you want to be in a safe space inside the crypto space. Everybody's very respectful, and it's completely free. So join the Telegram group if you already haven't. Subscribe on YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube if you already haven't. And thanks so much to everyone that subscribed and liked and joined the CMF family. If you've also followed me on X on tonight's live show, thank you so much and welcome to the CMF family. If you followed me on X as well on tonight's live show, thanks so much to everyone that's retweeted and liked the live show as well. That's 6 years. Good night, Crypto Mouse. It was nice seeing you again. Carlos, let's go, brother. See you tonight again at 11:25 p.m. onwards. See you, brother. Can't see. I will check it out. Let's go, XRP Sherman. Welcome to the CMF as well. I will see everybody tonight because it's 1:15 a.m. right now. So I will see everybody tonight. Same time as usual, 11:25 p.m. onwards, UK time. Everybody have a great day or a good night. CMF, everybody have a great day or a good night. See you tonight, same time as usual. See everybody tonight, 11:25 p.m. UK time onwards. Because right now it's 1 a.m. See everybody tonight.